Well, I'm at the finish line for the Tour de Langkawi, and if you watch my channel, you know that I try to get to the stage that finishes in Kuala Lumpur every year. I almost didn't make it. I got here when there was 2 kilometers to go. So they should be here any minute. According to the announcer, there were 112 riders they're expecting to finish. Most of them, as you saw, came by. I think that was probably the main peloton. I can't imagine another group being bigger than that one that we saw go by. All right, I'm going to go over to the cooling area where the riders are underneath a fire hose. Not sure what all these whistles are for. Oh, it's to get people off the street. This is the closest I'm going to get to a drone shot. This is a job I could go for right now. This is one of my favorite things about Kuala Lumpur. There's always something going on. Now, I knew this was going to happen, but a lot of times when I'm out wandering around, I'll come across something that I didn't know was happening at all, and just join in. Lots of things happen over at Dataran Merdeka, but the Tour de Langkawi sometimes finishes over there and sometimes it finishes here at the KLCC, the Twin Towers area. Last year it finished here also, I think. So this is a big sports weekend here in Kuala Lumpur. Today we also had the beginning of the KL Marathon with the 5K, and I think the 10K was held today. I'm not sure about that, but you can look that up. Tomorrow morning is the actual marathon itself, 42 kilometers, and it starts at 3 a.m. I might be there at the finish, but I know I'm not going to be there at the beginning. This is one of the Malaysian riders. I can't, do you know what team? Apa Kumpulan? There's a lot of sirens behind me. I don't know what's going on. No, there's a lot of whistles, so I think I'll get off the road. Although it is fun to stand in the middle of the road here. All right, just one. Are you happy now? Well, it's just starting to rain. Luckily, I brought my International Big Shot umbrella.
Yes, today is the last day. We have a lot of prizes to be given away, including our prestigious challenge trophy, Petronas Tour de Langkawi 2023, right here on the stage.
Setidak-tidaknya ia mengambil masa lebih kurang 6 jam untuk kita selesaikan.
Come on.
You can hear the announcers there getting ready to give out the prizes. The riders are probably getting dried off and a little bit more comfortable. It's 33 degrees, so they spent most of the afternoon riding in that kind of weather. Probably at something approaching top speed. And just like last year, it's raining. Last year, though, it was raining a lot harder than this. But it's just getting started. Right now I'm heading back into KLCC, or the Surya Mall. There's an entrance to the LRT in there. It's also not raining in there. Good morning. I'm on my way to the KL Marathon. This is the second big event that I'm visiting this weekend. In the same area, we might have a KL car-free morning occurring. This is something that happens every week. They block off some of the roads downtown Kuala Lumpur for 7 or 8 kilometers of walking, cycling, skateboarding, you name it. That's held every morning, or every week, rather. But sometimes when there's big events going on, like the KL Marathon is right next door to where the car-free morning would take place. So they might have canceled the car-free morning for this week, but we'll see in a minute. I mentioned in the video earlier, actually the part that I recorded yesterday at the Tour de Langkawi finish, that the actual marathon run itself began at 3 a.m. this morning. I know some of you are probably wondering why I didn't get up at 3 a.m. to record the start of the marathon. But as I mentioned several times before on this channel, watching these large events really isn't what you think they are. It's very hard to watch a marathon unless you watch it on TV. Same thing with the cycling race. If you've ever thought of going to the Tour de France just to watch the race, I can tell you right now, save your money. You're not going to see the race. If you do get along the road where the Tour de France riders are going to pass you by, you'll see them for a few seconds as they zoom by, and that's it. The best place to watch a bicycle race or a marathon race is in your living room on television. So there's really no need to try to get here to record anything particular about the race itself. But I am interested in the infrastructure, the organization, and the event management itself that goes on with these things. I used to coach swimming for 30 years, so I know the amount of work that goes into putting on a swimming competition, which is held in a very small arena compared to an event like this. And yet that requires a lot of work from a lot of people to successfully complete. So if we think about this, you look at all the infrastructure surrounding something like a marathon, it's an incredible amount of work, a gigantic number of people, and probably a huge amount of money. My goal of photobombing anybody possible is going well. When the runners finish, they come through here, get their time, check in, get some water, And the area over here where of course, I'm not allowed to go, there's probably electrolyte drinks and all kinds of recovery stuff. Fans, as in the air-moving type, not the athletic type. No thanks. We're going to cross the street now, go over to Dewan Bandarya KL, which is City Hall, and see if the KL Car-Free Morning is actually underway. It looks like it is. Normally with an event like this, they would cancel it for the week, but it doesn't look like it, but we'll be over there in a minute. Well, the Car-Free Morning was not held today. This setup is for the marathon also. There's a lot of runners here standing in line. I'm not sure what they're standing in line for. Well, I just checked with one of the runners, and these lines are for people to collect their clothes. Most of them, of course, did not show up to the start of the race wearing their running gear, so they changed somewhere, put their clothes in a bag, and then checked them here. And now that the race is over, they're collecting them again so they can get changed and go home in something comfortable. I just tried to look up how many runners were actually in this year's marathon, but the internet is not available right now, and I'm guessing it's because of all the people and all the phones that are right in this small area. The same thing happened last year when I was talking about and wandering around the National Day celebrations. I was trying to get in touch with Malaysian media superstar Grace H.R. Ling because she was also going to be attending the downtown activities in the parade. So I tried to call her or text her, and there was no connection at all. And it was only because there were a couple 100,000 people in the same area that cell service just wasn't available. It was overwhelmed. So I suspect that's what's going on now. When I tell you how many people are in the KL Marathon this year, it's going to have to wait until I actually edit this video. Getting back to the event staging itself, Malaysia is excellent at running these kinds of events. Every time I've come down here for an event like this, large or small, it's been excellently organized. There's never confusion as to what's going on, no matter how many people show up. Everybody seems to know what to do and where to go. But the bicycle race especially, I don't know how you organize a bicycle race like that, because the setup what we saw last night at the last stage or the finish of the Tour de Langkawi has to be reproduced in 2 places every day for every stage. So there were 8 stages in the tour. So you had a start infrastructure that had to be set up and a finish infrastructure. Now, I've never been at the start of a bicycle race, so I'm not sure how many people it attracts, but from what I've seen on TV, it's quite a bit. You can get a pretty big crowd. And I've been at several finishes, and the crowds there are just enormous. So the manpower and scheduling and infrastructure it takes to move all that stuff around and set it up at each different stage is just incredible. I find that kind of thing very interesting. I'm walking back to my house now, and I thought I would stop at some street food vendor and get some food, but apparently they're not out on Sunday mornings. I would think that with all that's going on just a couple hundred meters away from here, you'd have street food vendors all over the place. I guess not. Anyway, so I'm gonna have to find a little shop to see if I can find some breakfast. Well, I have internet now, but I still can't find the number of participants that are in the 2023 KL Marathon. All I can find is the total number from last year is 34,000 plus. And I think that includes the marathon, the half marathon, the 5K, the 10K, and all the other smaller races that go into it. And maybe even the gorgeous baby and fancy dress competition. But you get the idea. It's a lot of people that enter the KL Marathon. It's a very popular race. It's not just regional either. There's a lot of people from around the world. It's the usual. Roti telur. Well, I just stopped to buy some nasi lemak for lunch. And I thought my ordering skills were good, but apparently I was wrong. Whoever was serving the food had like a lot of muscle memory to deal with. So no matter how many times I said no chicken or tidak ayam, I still ended up with chicken in the container. Anyway, I'm back to the drawing board. I don't think it was me. I think they were just busy and they weren't really paying attention. I mean, who would suspect that a foreigner would know anything about the Malay language? I think that's going to do it for my sports weekend video. Until next time, be seeing you.